How is it going, you lovely lot? Welcome back to episode number 17 of Park to Prem. It's Wednesday, it's the start of season number 3, and today we take on the favourites for the title in Stockport. Very rare you have a big game this big to start the season. This feels like the kind of game, if we win, maybe we're the real deal. Of course, I do hope you guys were able to catch the previous 2 episodes, the transfer specials. And let me tell you now, there was lots of transfers in those transfer specials. Sometimes they don't deliver. I feel like the last couple of videos certainly did. So just to refresh your memory, we, for the first time this year, are going to be playing our trade in League 2. The season preview right now has us down as 3rd favourites for the title. Of course, top 3 teams in this division get automatic promotion. Also just noticed here, Ajaria in the Media Dream 11 at right back. I'll tell you what, that is something you love to see. In terms of my expectations for the year, prior to the summer, I was saying I'd like to aim for the playoffs, kind of top 7 finish out of 24 teams felt like a reasonable aim. Given the transfers, given the season preview, I am targeting a top 3 spot. As for our fans and the board, they'd be happy with mid-table, but we don't want that kind of mediocrity. Now, it is worth noting we've still got £1.6 million in the bank balance. We've only signed 3 transfers over the summer. I'd love to put some of that maybe towards the infrastructure at the club, maybe improve the staff team a little bit. Really, I've focused on 3 transfers. Despite that, still got a lot of transfer budget and wage budget if I really want to spend it. I've not spent it yet. The window's open for another month. In Football Manager, the further you get through the kind of pre-season and then when the season starts, the lower free agents' wage demands become. Our first team squad, as you can see here, is currently 23 players. So there is some scope to maybe bring in 1 or 2 more transfers if I want to before the transfer window slams shut. Of course, last year, tactically, we played this 3-4-1-2. And to be honest, I feel like this is the system we are going to be sticking with this year. It's served us really well. And when I look at our new full strength 11, when everyone's fit, I feel like we have an immense squad for this level. As has become tradition at this point, we are going to do a little rundown of the squad ahead of season number 3, starting, of course, with the goalkeepers, where Teddy Sharman Lowe is the new number 1 goalkeeper. Little concerned that he doesn't like important matches, but despite that, he is a very, very good player. Didn't play a game of football last year, was a free agent for 12 months. He comes in to supersede Rose, who I feel like in an emergency I can maybe call upon. Again, another goalkeeper who doesn't love important matches. His issue last year was his injury proneness. 2 times last year he got injured during matches, and for that reason, I felt like I couldn't really trust him. 3rd choice goalkeeper, not a glamorous position. Miles Roberts did the job last year. He's going to be 3rd choice this year. If we need him, I think he can do okay too. In terms of centre-backs at the squad, 5 players currently that can play centre-back. I do worry about that a little bit, given the fact that we do play with a back 3. Have got a couple of youth players that I could promote, perhaps in the event of an emergency. In terms of our starting 3 centre-backs, Jack Kindon is going to lead the line in the middle. He joined us last year, developed absolutely amazingly, and Jesse Deborah was another player who joined us, albeit a little bit further into last year, and I feel like the 26-year-old really proved his worth. Last year, our left centre-back was Louis Jackson. His era is over, and he will be on the bench this year because we have Zach Orr in our ranks. Really like the look of this guy. I feel like when you look at his actual attributes, the numbers don't look all that impressive, but he's just a really well-rounded centre-back, especially for the kind of ball-playing defender role that he's going to be playing in. As you can see here, a straight upgrade on what we had before. Added bonus as well with Zach, can play defensive midfielder. And if we have an absolute crisis, Ben Jackson is just the no-nonsense defender that every team needs. Lacks a bit of heading, but he can jump high. Great marking, great tackling, great positioning. Not going to be good with the ball at his feet, but he can do a job if we need him to. When it comes to the wing-backs in our team, Alan and Ajaria are going to be starting in the wider areas. Of course, both products of our youth academy. Ajaria in the Media Dream 11. Aaron Allen, maybe a slight level lower, but nevertheless, a super consistent player. Has recently, of course, committed his long-term future to the club, signs a new deal that kicks in at the end of the season. And behind the 2 starting wing-backs, we've got a backup right wing-back, a backup left wing-back, and someone who can play both. I feel like that's the kind of depth I like to have when it comes to my wing-backs. Egbo is the man who can play on either side. Probably going to be on the bench a lot for us this year. Super versatile man at the back. Connor Pye was a very, very good left-back in the National League. Given the fact he's not got the same potential as Aaron Allen, and when I look at him, he's maybe not quite good enough for League 2. Definitely going to be more of a squad player this year, but a player we can call upon. And admittedly, he's not an ideal right wing-back choice, but in an emergency, Callum Hume will be the man that could play right back. A little bit worried if he's playing there. That would mean we've got a lot of injuries. In the defensive mid positions, we have had a little bit of a revolution. 2 new players, JB and Matos. Yes, it's JB, not Giabi. I've been reliably informed by the comments. I feel like these two, as a kind of a pairing, are going to be really, really good. A little bit of a shame that Alex Matos got injured during pre-season. Not going to see anything of him today. These 2 guys are my biggest earners. I need them to run midfields at this level. I must admit, when you actually look at the backups here for the defensive mid positions, it does look a little lacking. Of course, we are still currently trying to sign one more player to add just a little bit more depth there in Ethan Robson, who's a nice little well-rounded player. But in terms of players already at the club, we've talked about Zach Orr. He's our starting centre-back. Callum Hume is another defensive mid option, although he's our starting centre attacking mid. It means the only defensive mid player not currently in the starting 11 is Callum Jones. Definitely more of a defensive style of player. Of course, he is going to be starting today. Yeah, I need another defensive mid, don't I? I think it goes without saying. Of course, for the last few years, Callum Hume has played as a regista in a deeper position. This year, he's going to be making that step forward and playing as our centre attacking mid. I did worry just a bit about his defensive ability at League 2. Maybe teams would be able to exploit that. So good to have him in the team. I think he's going to be a good fit for this position. If he doesn't perform there, though, we are not short of options. Of course, we've got Whittaker, who could definitely come in and play at centre attacking mid. Didn't really wow me in the National League. Definitely didn't want to be reliant on him this year. One of the reasons why we've gone out and signed a couple of other players that can play centre attacking mid. Ashley Fletcher is one such option. To be honest, I think he's going to be more of a striker for us this year. Max Voltman, though, I really kind of like the look of a centre attacking mid. I don't know if this is controversial. If Hume doesn't perform, I feel like I'd play Voltman ahead of Whittaker in that position. When it comes to the strikers, a couple of these players can play centre attacking mid. I've just talked about them. But in terms of starters, Andy White leading the line. There is still some interest in him, and it's quite big interest. So that scares me a little, although he has provisionally agreed to a new contract that would potentially be a 6-year deal if we get promoted in the initial 3 years. Of course, alongside Andy White, to start the year, Taylor is going to be here. This man is a pressing forward. Oh, yes, I love it. He ticks these boxes nicely. And it does mean a little bit begrudgingly that Overton, who of course has been our starting striker and reliable for the last couple of years, is just going to drop down to the bench. A little bit concerned about his injury proneness, a little bit concerned that his physicals, his pace, which really has carried him hard, might not be as standout at this new level we're entering. Nevertheless, as an option on off the bench, think he can be useful. Anyway, that is a little bit of a rundown of the squad in its current form. Really, really like the look of it. Like I said, I think we should be targeting automatic promotion. A little bit of a shame that we don't quite have enough depth at centre attacking mid. It does mean that for today's game, I have no defensive mid outside of players that are already in the starting 11. So let's hope we don't get any injuries. Very interested, by the way, to see how Jarby does at Regista. I feel like there's big pressure on JB here to perform. We'll see how he gets on. Like I already mentioned, first opposition today is going to be Stockport County. Lewis Bates is their key man, potentially on the way out of the club for almost £4 million. Sadly for us today, he is able to play for them. And I'll tell you what, when you look across the rest of their ranks, Fiorini here looks very, very good, doesn't he, at centre mid. Louis Barry, far too good to be playing in League 2. He's got multiple caps for Ireland. I'll admit, last year he didn't get a goal in League 1 for Colchester. I feel like for a League 2 club, he's very good, isn't he? I'm scared. All right, let's hope we can open up this league season with a win. This perhaps the toughest game we could be playing all year. Bit annoying that we're playing Stockport so soon as well, because it means they've not sold players like Bates, who they're probably not going to have for a lot of this year. But sadly for us, today, he is going to be available to play against us. And, well, worth mentioning as well, after this game, the very small matter of Wickham. So a League 1 team in the EFL Cup is the second game today. Not starting off this season with an easy couple of games, but with the brand new spanking EFL graphics on full display, it feels like promotion has now happened officially. We can try and prepare ourselves. They are playing a 4-3-3. Feel like we match up okay against that. Okay, 5 minutes into this game, we're immediately off to the races. Barry is playing out on the left-hand side for them, of course. In terms of new players for us, Taylor, JB at centre mid. I'm trying to click on him. JB at centre mid or at left centre back. And, of course, Teddy in goal. Players that I'm looking at thinking, you have to make the step up. Suppose the nice thing is, whilst we have demoted some starters from last year down, a lot of them are still at the club. So if things don't go to plan with new signings, if they don't hit the ground running, we can mix things up. We need to do some defending here. Louis Barry cuts inside. He can shoot from there all day, every day. Ajaria on the near side. Of course, the academy prospects like Ajaria, Andy White, who's just won a penalty for us. Look, I'm going to be looking at them to be good. We have a chance immediately here. Callum Hume from the penalty spot. That came from nothing. That was a weird penalty. Poor discipline on their behalf. And that penalty off the post gets us off to the races. What I was about to say was we've got all these kids in the team. It might be a bit of a step up for them. Right now, the kids are doing all right. Admittedly, it's 10 minutes into the season and it's the first game. Probably shouldn't get too carried away. Anyway, we've got to throw in the same area again here. Ajaria in the Media Dream 11 at right back. So keep an eye on him to be one of our key players this year. Lots of interest in him. Hume has just scored another goal. The flag is raised. It's offside. It's not going to count. Imagine if we find out here that me playing Hume at Regista all year for the last 2 years has just been a mistake and he's an absolute demon at centre attacking mid. That would kind of be quite funny, wouldn't it, if it happens? JB, AA! I don't know why he didn't take a touch. I kind of rate the fact he went for the volley there, but he's hit it over. And we're straight into another highlight. I tell you what, Stockport are being bullied right now. I feel like every highlight is us going forward. Ajaria, the right back, options in the middle. Andy White is there. Taylor's back post. Hume leaps highest. Doesn't get it on target. I'll tell you what, in terms of first half against the team predicted to win the league comfortably, how can I be mad here? We've had 67% of the ball, 8 shots, only 2 on target, maybe a little bit demotivating. But crucially, we've got our noses ahead. We're controlling the game. They're really not doing anything here. And suddenly, it's half-time. Look at that XG story. We have been absolutely rampant here. I'm just going to praise the players. A little bit worried that Andy White is on a 6.5. You know, if I'm going to find a negative to things, he's been quiet today. Then again, with how the rating system works in Football Manager, if a striker doesn't score, they just don't get a good score, do they? We've already played 15 minutes of the second half. I should be making changes. Right as I went to make those changes, a highlight began. So I'll take my hands off the wheel and let the Football Manager gods do their thing. Let's see if we could get a goal. I mean, this would change my subs, of course, if we get another. Taylor ghosting inside to Jones, plays it wide, Ajaria, Andy White. Offside. Wouldn't have counted. Okay, in terms of subs, I'm going to bring in Overton, Fletcher and Voltman. Fresh trio in the final third. White, not had a good game there. On a 6.5. JB gets a rest. Hume is going to drop back into Regista. Of course, we get 5 subs at this level, which makes me want to make more changes for the sake of it. Alan's not been the best today. You know what? Egbo, on you come. I'll tell you what, the jump from being able to have 5 subs that you use out of 7, or is it 9? No, it's 7, I think, at this level. 9 in the Premier League. But the difference between that and the National League, where I only get 5 subs and I can only use 3, it feels quite different. It's like a whole new world. There's not long left of this game here. There's 5 minutes left. Stockport have done nothing in this second half. They've not had a shot on target in the entire game. We've completely shut them down with our really good defence. And yet, why is there a highlight at the end of the game? This is how we started last season, isn't it? Last season, we dominated a game 1-0, then conceded. I've seen this movie before. Ollie Norwood scored. He's on £7,000 a week. It's not fair. I feel like we've played so well in this game. That's the thing that makes it sting the most. Like, we've been really, really good here. Norwood pulls the trigger. I don't know if Teddy should get closer. I'm just sad. There's 5 minutes left. That was their first shot on target of the entire game. I kind of want to go more attacking here, but at the same time, there's not that many options I can do. Taking Zach Orr off, bringing on Whittaker to play at centre attacking mid. We'll play him as a shadow striker. And I'm going attacking. We're focusing the play through the middle now. Complete roll of the dice, changing things up radically, but I just feel like we have to do it. 3 minutes of added time, gonna come and go, full time. What an awful game. I mean, what do you say after that? We've played well. If we play like that against other teams, we'll batter them. A little bit concerned maybe. Our only goal came from a penalty. Oldham, by the way, who were promoted via the playoffs with us, they won their opening game. Things just get worse. If I'm going to be real, given the quality that Stockport have, I actually feel like that's quite a good result. If they're going to weaken their team, if we can play like that, I feel like we should be up there come the end of the year. Anyway, things aren't going to get easier for us. 3 days' time, Wickham at home. It is another game at Brisbane Road for us. Wickham, by the way, obviously in League One. Media prediction of 15th. They've just lost their opening game of the season 3-1 and they're bottom of League One. Maybe we have a chance. We'll go find out. Let's see how we get on. Always suspected that today's episode was going to be a little bit of a test. Now I've had time to reflect on that last game. Kind of happy with how well we defended. I do question that with kind of us going forward and the attacking side of things, maybe it is just a case of new players getting up to speed, bedding into the system. Anyway, bit of team news for today's game. Alex Matos, not fit. Still coming back from injury. I could rush him back, but it's just not worth it. And JB as well has picked up an injury. With respect to the EFL Cup, not my priority for this year. Some good news though, Robson has now signed for the club. The new man comes in, doesn't really fulfill the criteria of a regista. Now I look at things here. Maybe I should shuffle Hume back and then I can play Voltman at centre attacking mid. That's probably a better way to go. In terms of the rest of the team, though, I'm not going to rotate things around too radically here. Interested to see how Voltman gets on, because I feel like he could be a good centre attacking mid option for us. But actually, I really like the look of him as a pressing forward. I love the 15 aggression, the 15 bravery, some good teamwork. Maybe wish he was a bit stronger, but with his natural fitness, I want him to be just a reliable backup player for us who can become a core part of the team. Going to get a start today to maybe try and prove his worth. Up top, of course, Taylor and White. They have to play better. Andy White, by the way, rejected a bid from West Ham. He's not particularly happy about it. But anyway, we will see how we get on here. Wycombe are not the best team in League One. I feel like the gap between kind of Vanarama national teams and League Two teams, especially the upper end of the National League, isn't that big. I do feel like League One is just a little step above, although some of those teams further down are beatable on their day. We've caused some cup upsets over the last few years. Maybe they're not going to take it seriously. Maybe we can make something happen here in the Carabao. Of course, it is our debut in this competition, the prestigious Carabao Cup. The League Cup, I'll refer to it in my heart. I've just noticed it. Look at their formation. Sorry, the formation they're playing is a really, really narrow 4-1-2-2-1. It's not a formation you see very often in the Football Manager match engine. Part of me questions if maybe we should be looking to play wider. Although, if we're going to play like that, maybe we can just play through the middle of them. Andy White probably should have scored there. Given how they're playing, where they're playing super narrow, I'm actually going to ask our players to play that little bit wider today. Also, big shout out to Whitey, who does all my kits. We should have less kit clashes this year, everyone. Also, the new kits look very, very nice. Look at us. We're playing in our new home kit. It's black with yellow, I want to say like claw scratchy marks. It looks like a tiger's ripped off our shirt and revealed yellow underneath. It looks very cool. You know what? I've not described it in a cool way. Just trust me. Look how nice it looks. We've got some defending to do here anyway. McCarthy to Bakinson to Lee. That was only just wide. I've just realised that Teddy in goal conceded a goal from his only shot on target against him last game. He's not yet made a save for us. He's played 2 hours of football. For the possession we're having, we're not really creating enough in this game. Wycombe with a long throw, on my word. We're in the big time now. Teams have long throw weapons. We've dealt with it there. It's actually a 2-on-2 at the back. Andy White, give it. Don't give it now. He's offside. Andy going for a wander. The number 9 with not the best ball that I'm not going to sell. What is that? If that goes in against me, I'm fuming. I mean, it's a great goal. Welcome to the club, Taylor. First goal. Some people are going to claim from the Andy White fan club that he knew that this was what was going to happen. He saw the future. He knew if he drilled a cross in, it'd just get cleared against the own defender there. I mean, it's a gift. I'm not going to complain. Only a couple of minutes left of this first half. They've now had their first ever shot. Teddy made a save. What a way to end the half. A goal up at the break. I mean, this is quite good. I mean, the reality is the Carabao Cup's not going to be the focus. If we get through this round, I'm not going to do the next round more than likely in a video. But given the fact it's our first time playing in the League Cup, it feels like a monumental occasion of sorts that we need to be here for. I feel like it's a rite of passage when you first get promoted to the Football League to enjoy your first midweek cup game like we are here. Voltman scores. Is he onside? He is onside. It's 2. When this corner was initially cleared away, I did wonder if they might just be able to catch us on the counter-attack. Everyone froze here as Hume played the ball through, except Voltman, who timed his run to perfection, and what a finish that was. Our wing-backs, again, not having the best game today. You know what? Egbo, Onyukam at right back. Pye, Onyukam at left back. I'm going to give Ethan Robson his debut as well. Fresh legs in the midfield needed. If we were worried about struggling for goals after the previous game, I feel a little bit calmer now. New signings scoring, always a good thing. I'll be honest, not been a classic this one, but we're just keeping them quiet and the clock is just ticking in the top corner. Keep on ticking, little clock. Wycombe with 2 minutes plus any added time to try and change things here. We've got an opportunity though, deep in enemy territory. Egbo to Robinson. Making his debut, Hume. Egbo at right back. Deflected. Voltman scores scores a second goal. I bigged him up pre-game. It looks like it was premeditated. What a bloke. Hume playing it through to Egbo there, the number 2 with a deflected cross. Bit of fortune about it. But you know what? You make your own fortune. 3-0. More like this, please, lads. Robson over the corner. I mean, minute and a half left here. Is there to be any late drama? Voltman's on for a hat-trick. Egbo at right back wants a goal. Forces a save out the keeper. And that is going to be that. 3-0 win. Probably could have used a few more subs in retrospect. More like that. If we play like that in league games against League 2 teams, we're going to be good this year, I think. Max Voltman, man of the match. I bigged him up pre-game. Made that late decision to bring him into the team. Turns out it was the right one. When I look at the league table now, I'm not that happy about it. When I look at the actual performances and results, I feel okay. Obviously, very early on in the season, in terms of the expectations for next episode, matches. I won't overpromise and underdeliver. Instead, what I will say is, maybe a small chance of a few more signings. If you have enjoyed today's episode, as always, go down below, leave a like. We are back again, same time and place as always. I'll catch you guys for the next one. I'm out.